Welcome everybody to Extreme Power No Handling, and today we're dealing with the 2014 Volkswagen Golf R. Now this has 865 horsepower, 608 pounds-feet of torque from a V6 twin turbocharged engine, and the vehicle itself weighs 3,398 pounds. It's got all-wheel drive. You do 0 to 60 in 2.820 seconds, 0 to 105.456 seconds, going over to a top speed of 213 miles an hour. So yeah. I've had plenty from Volkswagen on this series before, but those have predominantly been older ones. We've only had one post-2000 Volkswagen on this series so far, but even that was only an SUV. So yeah, this is not only the first, post-2010 Volkswagen we have, but it's also the first post-2010 modern hot hatchback that we've had on this series as well, which is going to be a class of car I'm going to explore in future episodes of this series, because there are plenty of them to go around. Couple more from Volkswagen themselves, in fact. But yeah, hopefully this is going to be pretty good. Obviously, the Peugeot 205 was also a hot hatchback that had all-wheel drive, but that was from the 80s, so it had quite old suspension, tyres, brakes, etc. But even so, that did incredibly well, and I think in part it was down to the fact it was quite lightweight. This Volkswagen is nowhere near as lightweight as that Peugeot, but I feel like the fact that it has more modern tyres, brakes, suspension, more modern all-wheel drive system, and yeah, doesn't have, I don't think it has quite as much power to deal with. I can't remember how much power there was. Yeah, it's got 10 horsepower less, so that might well help it, but I think the fact it's more modern will be the overriding factor if it's going to do better than that Peugeot. But like I said, it does weigh a bit more, quite a bit more in fact. Yeah, about 800 pounds or so more, so yeah, it's going to be a big ask of this car to be able to overcome that extra weight, but hopefully it will do well, and it certainly will do well, better than the previous Volkswagens on this series, that's for sure. So yeah, let's get out there and see what it can do. So yeah, it's kind of a shame that we don't have a more up-to-date Volkswagen, but 4 years old isn't dramatically old. Just would have been nice to have the latest one on this game. Who knows, that might come in the future, but nonetheless, way more power than it had originally. But even standard, this car was fairly decent in terms of handling, so I'm hoping that it can retain some of those qualities. They had a bit of understeer there, kind of expected to be honest. Plenty of acceleration to make up for it. Some fairly decent speed on the straights. Certainly seems to be holding a little bit better extra speed through the follow-through as well, unlike the Peugeot, which had oversteer issues which really did limit that car from going any faster. That's a pretty solid first lap time at 1 minute 26.640 seconds. Yeah, that understeer is quite notable. But there's never anything not wrong with a car on this series, so it's just all about, getting used to it and learning how to deal with it to get the quickest time possible. decent improvement, only a slight one though, at 1 minute 26.126 seconds. Can deal with this understeer a bit better, we might be able to be somewhat faster. Key thing to do in this series is learning from your mistakes. That's an incredible time, 1 minute 23.288 seconds. Not quite as quick as the Peugeot, but it's damn close. Crucially, that is still more than a second slower than the Maserati Ghibli S, which is at the top of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, that has ruined the dirty lap recording, but we weren't all that far off it. See, that's the problem with this game. Something I've outlined in previous episodes is it doesn't record every time, only records the clean lap times, which is ridiculous, you know. In races, even, you know, in real life, they do give you a breakdown of each lap that's taking place in a race. The least you could do with this game, even if it is dirty laps included. Well, 1 minute 23.465 is the recorded time, but I know we got about 1 minute 23.2 something. So yeah, not the quickest car that we've had, but it does put it ahead of the likes of the Porsche Macan Turbo, the BMW M6 Coupe, the Renault Alpine GT Le Mans, and the Subaru Legacy B4. It is slightly behind the Renault Sport Clio and the Audi Sport Quattro, as well as last episode's Peugeot 205 Turbo 16, which, yeah, I'm still thoroughly impressed by. But this did fairly well, especially for a car, you know, that had understeer issues, has way more weight than that Peugeot ever did, and yeah, didn't have an insane amount of extra controllability. Obviously, it had somewhat better handling in areas. Certainly in the follow through, it didn't have anywhere near the level amount of understeer, and that comes down to the fact that it didn't have as soft suspension as that Peugeot did, and also didn't have to deal with a mid-engine layout. But you know, it's still done reasonably well. It's done about as what I'd kind of expect from a modern all-wheel drive car, because you know, most of the modern all-wheel drive cars are around that time. It's only really the Maserati Ghibli and the Maserati Levante that have done significantly better than that. But yeah, nonetheless, still a solid good time there, and it sets a benchmark for future all-wheel drive hot hatchbacks on this game, because we've got plenty to choose from. We've got the likes of the Audi S1, the Mercedes A45, the Ford Focus RS. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what those cars can do in comparison to this. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.